Showtime.
Showtime.
Okay, so you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone?
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me, Jordan. I really
For
appreciate
sure.
you taking the time to hop on a live stream together here. We just had a short conversation, getting to know each other a little bit so we can break the ice and we can vibe smoothly. My name is Wolf. I have been a fan of Jordan for a while now. I've seen his channel blow up, and I think that he's a fantastic guy who is inspiring a lot of young guys all over the world with his wide knowledge. He has a really good appreciation of fine art. I love his spoken word videos. I really resonate
Thank you.
with the type of art that he creates. I also know that he is currently working on a very exciting book. It's called Soul Shock, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Soul
And
Shock.
I'm very much looking forward to that. I think that he is putting a lot of beautiful time and effort into this book, and it's going to be like his soul baby in a way. Like he really wants to share this with the world. And I can see that he's very excited and proud of his work. So I'm super much looking forward to that. So yeah, he's a fantastic guy, and I feel honestly so grateful to be here. So thanks for having me, bro.
And I appreciate the kind words, man. That means a lot. You're definitely right. That book is I don't think people understand. People don't really realize like how much effort, like and just how much fun I'm having writing it. That's really the most important thing, is like unlocking that creative side of yourself. And I feel like as a creative, that's always the goal, is to just get to that next level of expression, self-expression, and doing so in a way that resonates with as many people as possible. So whether that be through YouTube or through writing, or if you like to paint, draw, sing, whatever that may be, just expanding your consciousness. That's the best feeling, man.
So I'm really curious. Tell me a little bit more about it, man. Like I heard that it's kind of like poetry and a lot of heartbreak kind of material, and also self-love stuff. And like, what made you get into some kind of poetic form of expression in this book?
Man, it's strange because I feel like some of the feelings that I've gone through, particularly in regards to that situation that I'm writing about, it was very difficult for me to put those feelings into words for a long time. And for some reason, the way that my mind works, poetry is the way that I articulate those feelings. Like, and usually I use poetry as a means to express like negative emotions for the most part. Like really what got me into poetry in the first place was like my battle with depression. And I don't know why my mind just works that way. It's like I can create something so beautiful out of the shittiest situations and emotions. But like whenever I feel very positive and happy, it's just my mind defaults to like filming videos and things like that. It's just, I don't know. I'm learning a lot about myself in that way. But poetry is just like my default setting for that. And I'll just say this, the book is meant to be an emotional experience above all else. I want people to read it and really just take their time with it and just feel feelings that they've never felt before. Feel feelings that they didn't even know that they had.
That's super, super cool, man. That's honestly very inspiring. And like while you were talking about the fact that when you are in this kind of more like dark negative space, you feel more the urge to express it through poetry and the written word. And when you feel good and optimistic, you feel more like, filming videos and sharing stuff. I can very much relate to that. I think that if you're in this dark place, you're more turned inwards and more introspective, and the written word helps you put your thoughts onto the paper in a way, and it kind of like helps you processing the challenging emotions you're feeling. But once you are in the positive mood, you kind of like want to share it with people, right? You want to affect others positively. You want to share what you're going through, what you're experiencing. So I can really resonate with the things you say, because I've experienced that myself in a way. Like when you're in this dark space, you are this kind of like barrel of emotions that is kind of like, it's trapped into this barrel, and you kind of need to find a way to mold, to put it into something. And that's kind of like, for you, it's the written poetry that really helps you process this energy. And I really like that. So I think that your book is going to be something that will resonate with a lot of people, right? Because it's you translating your feelings onto the paper, and then the reader, it's like kind of like a, how would I say, like a translation between your inner world and then the other person's inner world. It's just like the bridge will be your words, and they will read it, and they will go through like their own emotional experience, right? So I think that's going to be like a really cool thing to go through that. So I'm looking forward to your book, man.
No, that's a beautiful way of putting it, man. Just a bridge between my inner world and their inner world. Because I think that's really what art is as a whole. It's just it's a means of connecting, a vehicle of connection. And when you can help people feel those feelings. I was just watching an interview with Tyler, the Creator, earlier, and he said the goal of creatives is to help other people feel what they felt. Because I've said this in the past, everybody just wants to be understood at the end of the day. That's really all humans want. We just want to be understood for who we are. And so to be able to put that part of myself out there and knowing that like there's going to be people that resonate with it.
Yeah.
That's just the best feeling.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and I'm curious because you mentioned this, the feeling of wanting to be understood. If it's too personal, you don't have to answer this, but you probably experienced with not feeling understood often in your own life.
Oh, yeah.
I assume. Yeah.
100%. I think, man, I think about this a lot. I've definitely been thinking about this recently. Like, I'm and I'm sure anybody who really follows my channel knows this. I'm a very multifaceted person. There's a lot of aspects to my personality that don't necessarily mesh well together. Like they're just damn near polar opposites, but they're just there nonetheless. Which is why one day you might see me put out a spoken word video, follow that up with a workout video, follow that up with a no-fap video, and just follow that up with a finance video, then talk about law of attraction to end the week off. Like I have so many aspects of my personality. And because of that, it's a bittersweet thing, because on one hand, I can partially relate to everyone, but I can't fully relate to anyone. And it kind of like, I'm starting to realize that that's my greatest strength. And I always talk about that, that's the essence of being built different, is just embracing all of who you are and being the best version of yourself. But to actually put it into practice by first embracing all of those aspects of yourself it opens up a lot of doors, especially in the creative context. And, I feel like YouTube has been that space for me for a while where I can just be myself. And I've struggled with like making YouTube my identity at times, which kind of takes away like my power in that sense. It just gives all of the power to the platform as opposed to the person. But I'm learning through experience that, it's all about just being yourself. That's the most important thing in life. And it sounds cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. Like there's a reason why so many people say that. It's the truth. If you want to live a happy life, you have to be yourself.
I love that, man. I love how you say that this is how you see things and how you progress your own life, right? Like learning to be yourself. It's very cliche, like you just said yourself, but it's indeed a cliche for a reason, because it's the key to living a fulfilling life, I think, because so many people, they struggle with accepting themselves, with being themselves, because they want to fit in or they want to be liked and appreciated. And especially when you are like someone who is very how would I say, sensitive to other people, their emotions and their states, you have a difficult time setting boundaries for yourself. Like I struggled with this when I was younger. I was a massive people pleaser, right?
Yeah.
Are you back?
Yeah. Are you, wait, wait, which one of us was buffering? Because on my end, you froze. Now you froze again. Okay, that's tough. I don't know I don't even know if you can hear me. Wait, can you guys hear me, or are we both frozen?
Okay. Is it fine now? Working?
Okay.
Oh, man. Okay. Are we good?
You're still lagging a little bit.
Yeah, it should
There you go.
stabilize soon.
You're good now. You're good
Okay.
now.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think that my housemate started streaming or something, and then the connection drops a little bit.
You're good.
Okay, we're good. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. So I was talking about the fact that I used to be like a massive people pleaser, right? I was very trying to fit in and to say yes to everything when I didn't really know what I actually wanted, and that caused me to grow this kind of like resentment within myself because I couldn't really be myself, but I was afraid to be myself because I thought that people would then stop liking me, etc. But once you start to realize that if you be yourself, if you are yourself, then you will attract the people who resonate with who you truly are instead of the people who you attract
Exactly.
by being fake you. Like, it's so backwards, you know. So once you realize that by being you, you will attract the people who appreciate you for you, it's way better than attracting people who appreciate you for the fake you who you think they want you to be. That makes sense.
Exactly, dude. That's like one of the most powerful things I've had to learn too, is that especially with girls. Let's just be real here. Like, a lot of it is like wanting girls to accept you. And for a while, like, I didn't think that there was a girl out there that would accept me for who I was. But it's like, okay, let's start by accepting myself for who I am. I don't even know who I am yet. Let's figure that out first, and then we can come to that conclusion later on. But I think another thing about embracing who you are is that, especially if you have a platform, it enables other people to do the same subconsciously.
Yes.
And to me, that's one of the most powerful things. Like, I have to remember that if I'm not being myself, if I'm not serving myself in the highest capacity that I can, I'm not only doing myself a disservice, I'm doing all of my supporters a disservice as well. Like, I'm going to give you an example, like a real world example. Yesterday, I went to this like nature spot. Never been there before. Just wanted to explore, watch the sunset. That's my thing. While I was walking on the trail, there was this guy there, just like right on the side of the trail, just meditating, like doing yoga. I think he was listening to Alan Watts, like just out loud. Like, it was, and I never really saw that before. I never saw somebody doing that. And it's like, because he did that, I felt comfortable doing the same thing. Because usually, like in the past, I didn't feel comfortable meditating in public. I didn't feel comfortable embracing that aspect of myself in front of other people. Why? I don't know. I really, like, once I learned to embrace it, it's like, why was I ever scared of doing that? Like, nobody even cares. Like, nobody's really thinking about that, about what I'm doing. But, after I saw him doing it, I said, you know what, I'm going to go up. I'm going to go in. It was like this little observation tower. And I was just sitting there meditating, like, and it felt euphoric. There's people walking like right in front of me. Like, it felt liberating.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can explain it. It felt liberating. And, I think that it's all about paying that feeling forward and just giving people that chance to embrace who they are in the highest way that they can.
Absolutely, dude. That's a very beautiful experience. Thank you for sharing that. I could feel the goosebumps and the emotions while you were sharing that story. Like, it must have been a very profound experience for you to feel that free in a way, right? And so to bring it back a little bit to the understanding part, right? Like, you felt misunderstood very often in your life, and something came to mind that might it have been because you didn't really understand yourself?
Yeah, I think that definitely played a large role in it. I feel like, in a sense, it's like I kind of understood myself, but I just rejected myself so much. And I thought that I can't be like this and also be like this. I can't be spiritual and meditate and also listen to this type of music, or wear these types of clothes, or go to these types of places. I thought that, like, all of these things were mutually exclusive. And for a while, it's like I pigeonholed myself. And it's like I said earlier, man, once you break out of that, you wonder why you ever did it to begin with. But obviously it's for validation.
Absolutely.
But it's like, even like, you're not even getting real validation though, because
No.
people, they can't validate you if you're not being yourself.
Exactly.
You're literally invalidating yourself. That's not
Yeah.
real validation, whatever you receive from others. So that's like, man, it's one of those things, man. I talk about this a lot in my videos. I can't stress it enough, but you have to be yourself.
Yeah.
If like, whether you want to be successful, whether you want to find a relationship, especially if you want to find love, like the real fulfilling love, the love that I talk about a lot, you have to be yourself. Like, you have to, because you don't want to be with somebody that forces you to suppress aspects of yourself just to maintain their interest. That's not fair to, you shouldn't have to live your life like that.
Absolutely. That's very inspiring, man. And I really feel like you went through like a whole journey of learning how to be yourself, and like you put in so much time and effort to get to know yourself, to speak up, to craft your voice. Like when I watch your videos, like especially like the last in the past few months, you have such an honest, open, genuine energy. You want to share your knowledge with the people, but you're truly like not holding back, right? Like you're really sharing yourself with your subscribers. And I think that rubs off on people. Like it's super inspiring to see you do that, because it allows other people to also show themselves, right? Like there is this beautiful story that it actually always has been with me ever since I heard it for the first time. I don't know if you know the channel Mouth of the Ape.
No.
You should definitely check him out. He is a fantastic guy. Like he talks a lot about no contact and breakup stuff, and like is a very wise guy, super wise guy. And so one of the stories that he tells people in his videos is that he used to be in Bali, right? It's like this island in Indonesia where it's like very natural, and people are like a lot more spiritual than in other parts of the world, especially like Western civilization. And he went to this small like vegetarian or vegan coffee place where you have this like kind of like chill vibes, right? And he was just sitting there, and like a very tall guy with like a very intense energy walks into this shop, right? And so he walks straight up to Mouth of the Ape, who is sitting there at the table, and it's like a buff dude, like the guy that comes in is like big and strong, right? And he starts massaging his neck, like out of nowhere, right? He doesn't know this guy, like it's totally weird, right? And he's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, he doesn't know what's happening, right? And he's like, what is going on? And this guy's like, "Relax, it's okay. I just want to let you know that you should continue doing what you're doing, because your doing allows others doing." And that sentence that really struck with me, because it's so true. Once you think about it, your doing allows others doing. It's so goddamn powerful when you think about it, dude. Like let's take an example, right? You're raised in a family that tells you that, hey, it's not okay to cuss at people or to call them names, and they tell their child you can't do that. But then they're calling each other names. What do you think the child is going to do? They're going to call people names because they see others doing something, and that allows their doing. Same thing, other way around. You creating these super inspiring videos, super authentic stuff. People watch that. They can see you do it. That allows them to share their message, to share their voice, to share their experience, because they can see that you are doing the thing that they would like to do. So you are actually like setting the example, just like the guy set the example for you, meditating in the nature, not really caring about other people. And he allowed you to go and sit yourself and just have this wonderful experience, right? Like that is such a profound thing to realize, that your doing allows others doing. And that story like forever stayed with me. And that's partly also why I do what I do, right? Why we all do what we do, why we create, why we share our message, because we want people to relate, to also, to share their story and to grow all together, right? So that is something that always stayed with me ever since I heard that story.
100%, man. And like I said, it's all about just paying it forward. Like, and especially in the context of YouTube, I think that that's something that I always try to remember, is just your impact cannot be quantified through the numbers. Like, because I might post a video, it might get like 1,000 views, right? And that would be just from a technical standpoint underperforming, right?
I mean,
But
1,000 views is still good, bro. Like, let's be
exactly, but
honest.
it's all relative. It's all relative. So when you hit a certain point, it's like, okay, like the bar always moves.
Yeah, of course.
But having that 1,000 views, right? There might be 2 people who watch that video out of those 1,000, and those 2 people, their lives are never the same after watching that video. It just changes the trajectory of their lives to the extent that they go on to produce something, to just put themselves in a position to change 2 more lives each.
Yes.
And those 4 people go on, and it just keeps going. Those are the things you can't quantify that through a subscriber count. You can't quantify that through your views or your analytics. That's why I stopped looking at that. I stopped looking at my analytics completely, because it's like, that's not doing my impact justice. And I like, for a while, it's easy to get lost in that. Like, it's easy to get lost in that. Even the most level-headed, passionate person can get lost in, like, when you make your career based on your livelihood, based on those numbers, it's like, you're stressing about it. But and I have a video coming out about that too, this upcoming week. But
good stuff. I'll check it out.
Yeah, but I feel like I just kind of lost my train of thought. Basically, just the numbers can't reflect your impact. Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
After taking like a month off from looking at my analytics, I went back and I didn't read comments or anything. I went back and read comments for the first time on one of my community posts, and dude, I broke down, and that was like such a surreal experience for me, because that was the first time in a while that I really realized the impact that I'm making. Like, it allowed me to just see right past the numbers and say, like, yo, like, you are actually changing people's lives. And I think that, like, for me, having hit rock bottom before, just from an emotional, spiritual, and mental standpoint, to know what that feels like and to know how isolating that is. Like I said, we all want to be understood. And when you're at rock bottom, it's not even just about not feeling understood. You feel like you're completely alone. And to be able to help people in that position, to help guide them and say, hey, you're at rock bottom, but if you grab that rock right there, and that rock, and then that rock, eventually you're going to make your way back to the top. You're going to get out of that space. That's what this is all about. It's about expressing yourself in such a way that allows you to help people help people step into their true, authentic selves. And it's a beautiful feeling.
Dude, that was powerful, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. It was very, very, very powerful. Yeah, so nice. And I 100% resonate with what you said. This feeling of loneliness and just hopelessness. You feel confused. You feel like nobody understands you. You feel lost. You feel completely. You feel so overwhelmed and like there is no hope. And then if there can be someone that can give you this little bit of hope by showing you the light, like showing you, like you said, the rocks, okay, one rock, next rock, and by providing you with some kind of acknowledgement and encouragement that gives you this spark of hope. If you or I can be, if we can be that person for someone, only if it's just one person watching your video, that has always been my, how would I say, like, measure of success. If I can just help just one person make that step from being in the dark and not seeing any way out to making small incremental improvements every single day, and then eventually ending up in a place where they feel grateful for life, where they can go out and talk to people, where they can share themselves, where they can, have a positive impact on the world and be the best person they can be, because everyone has this version of themselves inside. We all have the innate capacity to inspire people, to share our energy with the world. And it's like an upward spiral. you inspire me, I inspire you, I inspire that person, and we all inspire each other, and it goes upwards. Okay, and that is what I love so much about, sharing your experiences and actually showing people that it's possible, right? Because, for example, in my life, the people that helped me the most were honestly YouTubers. I kid you not. I owe my life to YouTubers. I'm that serious. And so, because I feel so grateful for all the YouTubers that helped me push my life forward, I want to pay it back. I want to pay back the value that I got from everyone online sharing their experiences. And I want to do the same. And I, like you said, paying it forward. We want to pay it forward. So you affect a few people, and it's a ripple effect, and it spreads everywhere. And you can't quantify the impact you have on the world at large, even because that one single person that was down in the gutter that you helped with one of your videos might end up starting some kind of charity project and helping like hundreds of people improving their lives. That is just such an incredible thing to realize, and you cannot lose track of that. And I very much resonated with your video, the emotional video that you uploaded talking about this. Like you said, you took a break from YouTube, and then you started reading the comments on the post, and you started to cry. And I clicked on that video because I felt intuitively that this was such a real message that you wanted to share with people. You were so real and raw in that video, and I really loved that. Like, you were so honest, and you showed your appreciation, and you allowed yourself to be moved by that feeling. And that is something that I very much appreciated. I thought it was very brave, very courageous of you to do that. And not many people can actually do that. A lot of people are afraid. So I was very touched by that video. So I wanted to thank you in person for actually like sharing that with everyone, because that was a beautiful experience.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And I think, it's funny because probably like a few months ago, I wouldn't have posted that video. I didn't have the courage to post it. But then it's like, once I realized, like to our points earlier, that by doing that, I'm enabling people, especially knowing that my audience is mostly men, and a lot of men are not comfortable embracing their emotions. And it's like, if I'm in a space to, how can I sit here and tell men that they need to embrace their emotions? They need to, develop emotional intelligence through emotional practice. And I'm afraid to cry on camera. Like, how, and it's just things like that, little contradictions like that I had to kind of clean up in terms of my channel, and just the way that I go about producing my content, my art. And, it's kind of like, though, me doing stuff like that, that's allowed me to make this book that I'm making.
Yeah.
Like, that's put me in the space where I'm like, okay, you know what? Because before, I was uncomfortable talking about this stuff, like, and it really ate at me for a while, just subconsciously. I didn't realize it, that I was just suppressing all of this baggage that I had within me, this emotional trauma. And now it's just all coming out. And like I said, it's a beautiful feeling. It's bittersweet, but just embracing these parts of myself that I didn't know were there. That's, like, in my opinion, that's true self-love. And that's the key to self-mastery.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Like, you being so raw and honest on camera is absolutely showing people that it's a strong thing to do. It's not weak, it's not weak to show your appreciation, to show that it affects you. You're a human being, just like everyone watching your videos. Everybody is just, going through life. And I remember you uploading one of the videos, life explained in 48 seconds or something, and you mentioned that everybody is just trying to figure life out. That's basically what it is. And that is absolutely my personal philosophy as well. Like, I really think that everybody at any point in their lives is just trying to figure shit out all the time. Nobody truly knows what's going on. They're just all trying to figure stuff out. And that's a great thing, because you can figure things out together. You can share your knowledge, you can share your experiences, and then help others figure stuff out together. That's a beautiful win-win situation. And I think that if you aim to vocalize your own experience. Like if you learn to truly communicate your ideas to the world in a comprehensive, cohesive way, that is one of the most powerful skills you can develop as a human being in today's day and age, right? To make yourself, like, explain yourself in a clear message, with a clear message, to make it understandable for other people to learn from. That is one of the most powerful skills, because you, with that, you can truly positively impact people's lives. Okay, because if you don't learn to craft your own voice, then you can't communicate your ideas, and you can't inspire other people through your ideas, right? So I think that you're doing a fantastic job with developing that skill over time. Like if you watch your progress over the years, the improvements you've made are just incredible, dude. Like it's so good to see where you started and where you're now. Like the progress is fantastic. So I very much admire that, and I think a lot of people admire that to see that process. So it's very inspiring, dude. Like absolutely, it's very good to see. Love to see it, like you would say.
I appreciate that. I think man, that like, and that's something that I try to always tell people, is that your inner growth is the true reward. And I think some people, like even me, I knew that, but I had to really learn it for myself to say that, like, okay, I'm hitting these milestones and it feels good, but that's not really what's driving me. That's not, that on its own is not enough to say that. Like, I feel like those things should not be the goal. Like the goal should not be to hit a milestone or to, you know, get this X amount of money or whatever. I think it should always be about elevating yourself, and you let those things be the byproduct of that. And when you do that, like even when I was in Vegas, I didn't really talk about this on the vlogs, but when I was out there, you know, I was driving the Tesla, I was staying in that nice Airbnb, and it's like I still felt all the same shit that I feel like here in my bedroom that I grew up in. The same emotions, the same, you know, like you get lonely sometimes, you get sad, you get happy. Like you're still a human at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what car you're driving or what house you're living in. Like, I mean, it's just, it's nice. It's a nice experience, but when that wears off, it's just you and your feelings and your thoughts. And can you handle that? Can you handle just embracing how you feel in that moment? Because you can't run forever. You can't run from that forever. Your shadows will always be there. You can't get away from it. So that's, you know, it kind of served as a wake-up call for me as well, that like, okay, you know, I already knew that the money and stuff doesn't really matter, but now I know more than ever that like, yo, this Tesla's nice, but it's not going to fix my inner problems. That's something that only I can do. And I saw a quote yesterday, a comment on somebody's video. They said, true wealth isn't defined by what you have, but by how much you appreciate what you have. Something to that effect. And I mean, dude, that's honestly the key right there. It's just gratitude. If you're not grateful for where you are right now, you'll never be grateful. And you're always going to have that void inside of you. But a lot of people, if they're driven by the ego, they just kind of, they don't really question that. They just think that that's the way that it's supposed to be. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be like that. You can fill that void, but you can't do it from outside of yourself, whether it's through love or through money or status, whatever you think you want. That's not gonna fix those problems.
I love how you say these things coming from a personal experience. Like I love how you go look for ways to actually validate these wise words for yourself. Like I'm sure you went out there to kind of have this experience and to see how it affects you, and you are self-aware, and so you think and you reflect on what is your experience, and you actually come to the conclusion that these ideas are actually true, right? Like you hear people talk about these things all the time. Oh, it's not about wealth, and it's about gratitude and stuff like that. Yeah, it's all beautiful ideas and quotes and whatever, but until you actually go out there and experience it yourself, this wisdom is not internalized really. Like, and I love that about you, that you actually go out there and try to validate this knowledge for yourself at the personal experiential level. So the way you talk about it now is with a lot of conviction, because you've been there, you go through that, and then you've realized that, okay, it's really true what these people are saying, right? And there is this beautiful idea that I very much resonate with as well. It's a Buddhist idea, and the quote goes like this: wherever you are, there you are. And that is like such a powerful idea, because no matter if you're driving a Tesla or sitting in a beautiful Airbnb in Vegas or just on a bench in a city somewhere, wherever you are, there you are. So if you learn to get comfortable with your own inner emotions, if you learn to tap into gratitude, that has been a life changer for me. Like being able to just walk in a city and pay attention to the beautiful trees or the sounds and the birds and the sun and whatever it may be, and I'm like, this feels so good. I'm so grateful that I can go for a walk right now, that I'm not starving, that I'm not in a war zone, that people are not raping my family, or like terrible things can happen. And tapping into the things that you have regularly, like I preach gratitude on my channel a lot, because I think it's so powerful for you to realize that, man, we are blessed. The fact that we can sit here, have this conversation with one another, that is incredible to realize. We are not occupied with trying to get food on the table. We have the technology available, we have the free time available, we have the internet, we have everything, dude. So if you can tap into that every single day and express your gratitude, your thankfulness for that, that is a life changer. And I know that I am currently in a very privileged situation, so I want to never forget about that, because there is so many people being in a worse place, having a lot less, who feel happier than I do sometimes. So that's really important to keep in mind and to express your gratitude for. That has been a very, very important part of my mental well-being, I would say.
100%. I mean, gratitude is the way that I see it, the highest expression of self-love is presence. Just being present right where you are. And the highest expression of presence is gratitude. Gratitude will always allow you to make the most of every single moment that you're given. And what is life but a composition of time, composition of moments? So it's like, if you just really learn to appreciate your time, appreciate this moment, you appreciate your life so much more. And that's where you start to have an enriching experience, and your energy begins to attract the things that you desire almost effortlessly, like in such a way where you don't think about, oh, this is like, I got to grind and get that. It just happens. You just look up, you're like, oh, like, what the hell? Like, I'm just here now. Like I'm at a completely different position in life, but most importantly, I'm a whole different person. But another thing, man, I want to touch on is just going back to like the whole, the Tesla and everything. A quote that I always used to hear, okay, when people would say money doesn't buy happiness, I would always hear people counter with this: I'd rather cry in my dream car than in a, I don't know, Toyota Corolla. I can tell you from personal experience now, okay? I like, this is something that I had to experience this shit for myself.
Yeah.
That crying in a Tesla versus crying in a Kia Optima, it doesn't make a difference. You still feel the same. It doesn't change anything. So I'm here to tell you that, dude, that's I mean, like I said, that trip really changed my whole paradigm on materialism. And that's not like, I don't want to, because people, they're gonna bring up this clip and everything once I like get these things. It's like, dude, I'm still going to get them. I'm going to get a Tesla. I'm going to get, I like that stuff. I'm going to be honest with myself and say that. But at the same time, I know better than to make that the goal at this point. That's the byproduct. And that's the important shift that I had to make, is realizing that the quality of my life is not contingent on the things that I have. It's contingent on my perspective of the things that I have. And my perspective is my choice. It's completely up to me. It's based on my own free will. And like I said, that just allows you to make the most of every moment that you're given, instead of delaying your happiness and delaying your gratitude.
That's very powerful, man. That's a very, very powerful insights. And I really feel like you are someone who really appreciates like the beauty of experiences, the beauty of, you're like, you call yourself a sunset connoisseur and a sunset lover, for example. And I think that it really fits perfectly into what you just described, right? Like the fact that presence is the highest form of self-love. Going to watch a sunset is you actually really bathing, literally sunbathing in that presence. You can't speed up a sunset. It goes
Yeah.
as fast as it goes. So the colors change. You can't speed it up. You have to be present in that moment and to really tap into the beauty of that sunset to fully have the experience. And I feel like you are someone who can truly appreciate the beauty of that, and that is a strength. Okay. And the reason why I say this is because I've recently took like some kind of personality test online, and it's a test where you can check your strengths, your psychological strengths and weaknesses.
Like
And
the Enneagram?
sorry?
Was it the Enneagram?
No, it was another one. I can send it to you if you're interested. I think you will learn a lot from that. It's really cool test. So it lists like your top 5 strengths and then your top 5 weaknesses, and you learn a lot from it actually. And so one of the results that I got, the one that ended up being on top, is the ability to appreciate beauty. And I literally got emotional when I saw that result, because I never thought of the ability to appreciate beauty as a strength. I always saw it as just whatever. But it is truly a gift to be able to do that. And that is such a wonderful thing to realize. And I feel like this is absolutely a strength that you have. You truly can appreciate beauty of a sunset, of an experience, of sharing your knowledge, of receiving the gratitude that people have their lives being changed by your message. And you can truly, tap into the appreciation of the beautiful experience that it gives you. And that is a strength. And me realizing that it is a strength was a very profound experience. So maybe it can be also cool for you to check it out and to take the test. I would be very curious to hear what you learned from that.
I would definitely love to take that test. You have to send it to me.
Yeah,
I think
I
that
will.
man, like the ability to appreciate beauty, for me, that's something that it took me a while to develop that. I was always a forward thinker. I was always like just trying to get to the next level. That was always my thing. And I think the first time I really just felt true presence outside of like just, dating and things like that, like being with girls or just being with my friends, was when I got monetized on YouTube. And like I said, it's not about the money. It's more about realizing that now I'm being given an opportunity to do what I love full time. And like just to know that and to sit there and ruminate in that feeling was one of the most powerful experience. That's the first time I've cried tears of joy in my life. And it was so like just such a liberating feeling. And I'm constantly striving for that. I'm constantly striving for that feeling wherever I can get it. And, it's like I said, it's only found through presence. It can only be found through presence and gratitude, appreciation. And, being able to not only experience that, but to share that with other people and maybe plant the seed in their minds to where even if they've never felt it before, they don't understand that yet. They haven't unlocked that emotion yet. One day they might, because now you've planted that seed. And you might change their, like I said, you might have changed the trajectory of their life without even realizing it.
Exactly.
So that's why these days I don't hold anything back. I don't hold any of my emotions back. I don't hold any of my thoughts back. It's like, dude, if something's heavy on my mind, I'm gonna say it. Like I'm just gonna, like I'm just gonna express it wholeheartedly with no regret.
That's powerful, man. Very, very powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
I was, while you were talking about it, you mentioned that you were previously like a very forward thinker, and then you actually learned to tap into the appreciation of the beauty around you. Maybe for the people watching this, it would be interesting to learn what kind of like were the things you consider as the steps in that progress, so people can actually maybe have some kind of guidance on how you made that transformation happen for yourself.
Man, as much as I'd love to sit here and say like all of the things that I did, it just happened
Hmm.
so organically
Hmm.
that it just, I think in a sense, I'm naturally like that,
Hmm.
but I just grew, like, I changed my ways through going through the
Yeah.
school system, being insecure, feeling like I can't do that. I can't express those emotions. I can't, I can't like sunsets. I can't like poetry. I can't like things like that because
Hmm.
that's not like I'm not supposed to.
So it was
And
a
I think,
matter of unlearning, maybe.
yeah, I think so. I think the biggest thing for me, the biggest turning point in my life was when I finished high school. Like once I graduated from high school, I really started to kind of hone in on myself and just
Hmm.
that self exploration. The next phase of that was dropping out of college. When I dropped out of college, I really started to unlock that feeling of just being able to look in the mirror and love what I see.
Hmm.
I started to get that just from embracing myself. And especially when you make such a big decision like that, it's like you're choosing yourself. And that
Hmm.
was the first time in my life, the very first time in my life that I chose myself and my own desires
Hmm.
over the expectations of other people, where
Hmm.
I put my feelings, the way my well being over other people's perceptions of me.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that really kickstarted my relationship with myself. And then I think the next phase of that was last year, like going through heartbreak, quitting my job, and just quarantine. And like having that space to just create full time and really unlock these different doors of my personality and of my soul. And, with that came spoken word, it came the self improvement videos, it came an influx of spiritual wisdom
Hmm.
which I was able to share and still am to this day,
Hmm. Hmm.
and just a new perspective on life. Because really, your perspective on life and your appreciation for life is a reflection of your perspective of yourself
Hmm.
and the way that you appreciate yourself.
Hmm.
That's why I always say that insecure people are the most judgmental.
Hmm.
Because if you're insecure, you're tearing yourself down internally, so you
Yes.
just assume that you're supposed to do the same to others.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
assume that other people do the same thing to themselves, and when they don't, you get frustrated. It
Hmm.
creates resistance within you.
Hmm.
It's contradicting your foundational beliefs,
Hmm.
and that bothers you. But one of two things can come from that: either you can try to bring them down to your level, or
Hmm.
you can elevate to their level.
Hmm.
And, for me, that's something that I've always tried to remember dealing with like hate comments and things like that. Not that I get that many of those, but,
Hmm.
especially early on, I wasn't used to that.
Hmm.
And I had to remember that they're only doing that because that's all they know.
Hmm.
Nobody who's really at peace with themselves would go out of their way to spread negativity. It's just plain and simple. Nobody would do that. And so I had to start coming from a place of compassion and
Hmm.
saying like, okay, I don't need to sit here and try to make them feel worse about themselves than they already do. I need to try to uplift them and
Hmm.
spread positivity. And like I said, plant that seed in their minds,
Hmm.
which it may not sprout right away, but one day, maybe it might be 10 years from now, 20 years from
Hmm.
now, when I've long forgotten about that situation, they'll know. They'll be able
Hmm.
to look at themselves differently. And like I said, that's the greatest gift that you can give to this
Hmm.
world. It's just helping people expand their consciousness and embrace who they are.
Hmm. Beautiful. Beautiful, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I can recap a little bit on what you just said, I was paying close attention to kind of like the process you went through. It's it started with choosing yourself for the first time after college, really
Yeah.
listening to your own internal voice and picking what you felt was right, and no longer trying to fit in what society or your family or your friends were trying to tell you, what they were trying to teach you. You chose yourself. And then all of a sudden, you started to understand that you can, in fact, choose yourself. So this started this cycle of choosing yourself more and more. And then you went into a phase during lockdown where you had a lot of time and space to introspect, to create, to craft your voice, to really get in touch with yourself, not only mentally but physically. You started to, hone your ideas and share them with the world. And that is when you went through the personal transformation where you started to truly appreciate yourself, and that caused you to want to share yourself even more. And then you got in contact with some kind of hate comments, and you started to understand that these people are not happy with themselves. And so the way to actually not combat this but to make this better is not by counter reacting with hate, but by actually sharing compassion, and by actually, you know sharing your positive mindset and attitude, and treating them with respect and dignity. Because this is something that I came to realize, similar like you, is that the people who hate on others, they don't feel good about themselves, they don't respect themselves, they have a very strong inner critic, and they project this hate onto others. But if you are the person who can respond, because I don't like to use the word react. You don't want to react, you want to respond, because responding is more conscious. You create space and you respond in kind. If someone attacks you with a hateful comment, it's like this, I am angry, I want to hurt you, I don't think. It's like an instinctual kind of like reaction. Okay, they feel triggered about something you said, and they want to let it out. If you take the time then to sit back, to evaluate the situation, and to respond in kind, to show them love, to show them respect, okay, to let them know, hey, I didn't want to offend or upset you, I appreciate your input, and thank you for sharing your ideas. Here is something that I learned in this situation. Or you share just some decency, some human respect, some love. You share love. These people are so not used to that, because they're used to people reacting to them with the same like energetic frequency. They also react with hate, and then they start a fight or a discussion or an argument, and they thrive off of that, because that's the energetic level they're resonating with. But if you reply with respect and kindness, sometimes people are so struck by that, and they are like, wait, what? There is actually, people can respond. They see me, they see the pain that I expressed through this hate, and they still think I'm a decent human being, and they show me love and kindness and compassion. That can absolutely change someone's life. That is an incredible thing to experience if you're in that bad place and someone still decides to treat you with respect, because you don't treat yourself with respect if you hate on other people. You hate yourself. So the only thing you want, truly want, is to feel loved, to feel appreciated, to feel
Feel
seen, to
understood.
feel understood. Precisely. That's what I wanted to say. So if you can be that person who shows understanding, that can be the first step in this person starting to reflect on their own behavior and understand that, okay, things can be different. Things can improve. I am worthy of respect, and I can learn to appreciate myself. And once this seed is planted in their head, it can start this upward spiral where they all of a sudden went from hateful, bad, negative people trying to better themselves, and then share that excitement with others. And this is just, it makes everyone better. So by just replying to a hate comment with respect, dignity, compassion, you can make the world a better place.
100%. And I've had experiences where people would not necessarily write hate comments, but just, provocative, like just clearly emotionally charged comments.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I could tell, like, you know what, this person's having a shitty day. Like, just,
Mm-hmm.
you can just tell, like, sometimes when somebody writes something, it's like, dude, they're having a shitty day and they don't have an outlet to express it. So they're just putting it here.
Yeah.
So then I'll respond with, like, I hope you're having a great day, man. Like, I'm wishing you peace and positivity. I've had people apologize to me after I did that.
Absolutely.
Like, dude, like, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to come across as a dick. I was just, and it's like, that's always a good feeling. Not just in the ego sense of like, oh, I got this person but it's more of like just knowing that you just expanded that person's consciousness a little bit.
Absolutely.
Or you helped them expand their own consciousness. And they can pay that forward then. And like we were saying, everyone just wants to feel understood. So when somebody feels understood in that low vibrational space, it enables them to ascend naturally, because feeling understood is naturally, it's a vibration shifter. It raises your awareness, your frequency. And something that I like to say is that love transcends all negative emotions. Unconditional love transcends any and all negative emotions. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that.
Absolutely.
Because love transcends negative emotions. It makes room for them. It says, even if you hate me, I still love you, and you can't do anything about it. There's nothing you can do about it except just embrace it. That's it. And you can start that ripple effect in somebody's life. And like you said, you never know how far that might go in the grand scheme of things, and how that might come back to you eventually. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's wonderful, dude. Like it's a very powerful spiritual idea, and one that I think you resonate very much with, and you also truly embody. And that is also why I very much appreciate your content and your message. Like, I feel like the values you embody really resonate with the values that I think are truly important in one's life. And that is something that I truly want to thank you for, like, to share your wisdom and your values with people. It's an incredible thing, and you're absolutely making a difference in the world. So that is very inspiring, man.
For sure, man. I appreciate that. 100%. But man, this has been a great talk. Guys, we said that we were going to go live for like 45, like 30 minutes. This conversation has been so great that we completely lost track of time. But man, he just finished streaming right before this stream. So I don't want to take too much of his time. It's getting late. Where are you from, by the way?
I'm currently living in Budapest in Hungary, but I'm originally from Belgium. But I was a digital nomad for like 5 years, so I've lived all over the world like a digital nomad. Yeah, I lived in many different places. So I love traveling, and I love spending time in different countries and getting to know different cultures. And I'm a very curious person, so exploring the world is feeding into that curiosity. But so currently I'm in Budapest, but I will move to Latin America fairly soon because it's warmer there. Here in winter, it's extremely cold, and I'm not that much of a fan of the cold and darkness. So, yeah.
That's great, man. That's great that you've been able to just experience the world in that capacity. But, for the people who weren't here in the beginning, you could just talk about yourself just for like these last couple of minutes, just to give people a little insight.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I don't want to take too much of your bandwidth here on your channel. I wanted to make it about you because I think you're a great guy and you're doing fantastic things here.
I appreciate that, man. They know me though. They know me very well.
Yeah, I know.
It's time to introduce yourself.
I felt super excited to hear your stories. So yeah, a little bit about me. Okay. So I grew up as a very sensitive child who was struggling with a lot of emotional overwhelm. So I didn't really know how to regulate the stimulation of the outside world. I was very sensitive to people's energies, people remarks. I tried to blend in. I tried to make everyone like me because I was so afraid of getting rejected and not fitting in. So that caused me to become this kind of like popular chameleon. So I was very popular, but I was not really authentic in a way. I was just really popular because I knew exactly what people wanted, and I kind of like made myself into this person that everybody liked. But deep down, it kind of like made me feel inauthentic, and it breed a lot of resentment at some point. And so I had a lot of anger at some point that I didn't know what to do with. And that caused me to actually slip into a very long depression during my teenage years, like a clinical depression. I was actually hospitalized twice. It was very, like, it was bad. Like, it was the darkest phase in my life. And I learned a lot during those times, and I was luckily able to get myself out of that dark hole, and take the wisdom with me that I learned from going through that period in my life. And then I felt like I missed out on a lot of things during my teenage years because I was so depressed. I didn't really, do all the partying and, all the stuff that teenagers usually do, the experimental phase, right? So I kind of like tried to catch up with that in my early 20s, and that's what I did. I started to go out a lot, to travel, parties, girls, everything. And I lived my fair share of hedonistic lifestyle in my life. Like, I did everything you could want to imagine as a young guy, like everything, like the cruise parties and the models and everything you can imagine. And so that's why I also really resonated with you trying to like go for the experience of the millionaire lifestyle, the Tesla and the big house and stuff like that, to just feel what it's like, because we all think that we want it, but until we get it, we don't really know that we actually don't want it. So, I don't know if you know Dan Bilzerian. You probably do know him.
I've heard the name before, for sure.
Okay, Dan Bilzerian is like this famous Instagrammer, poker guy who got like extremely rich, and he was hosting these crazy parties with tons of Playboy models, and he had like guns and tanks and like the ultimate, what a, I don't know, rich millionaire fuckboy lifestyle, if you may call it. Okay, and so you see this on Instagram and you think, I want that life. My life is so shitty. I want that life. So I felt shitty about my life because I was comparing it to this like ideal Instagram life. And so I made it my goal to get there. And so I did. I actually went to these types of parties, and I actually, hang out with all the Playboy models and the parties and whatever. And then I realized, holy shit, this is so superficial and so empty, and I don't enjoy this at all. And but I somehow deep down I knew that this was not really my world, but I had to go there to truly experience this for myself.
Yeah.
And then I came to the realization that, okay, this is really not what I want to do with my life. I actually want to share my story. I want to help other people deal with their darkest times, because I was there and I know what it feels like. And I felt so alone with that pain. I felt so alone with the suffering, that I would never want anyone else to feel that alone. So that is when I came to understand that, okay, I just want to help people go through the hard times and learn to accept themselves, learn to appreciate themselves, learn to spread positivity and gratitude. And that's how I ended up starting my own YouTube channel, and that's where I'm at right now. So currently, I am also uploading daily videos, and thank you so much, bro, for sharing that. So yeah, I'm uploading daily videos, and I want to create a community for people to connect with each other and to inspire each other, to spread a message of positivity, and to allow people to understand that they do have a choice. There is a way out. There is a way out, because I felt so hopeless, dude. Like, I literally felt like I would never be able to get out of that depression ever. I felt like I would be stuck there forever. And that was just the most terrible feeling. And if I would have had someone who could tell me, dude, don't give up. There is hope. You can change. You can live a life that is fulfilling, that is happy, that is filled with people you love and that love you and that you care about. It's possible. You just need to, shift your mindsets and install better habits and like work on yourself. And it's possible, man. You can get out there. And that is honestly the person I want to be for others. I just want to be that guy that tells you, man, don't give up, bro. You got it. You got this. There is hope. Just keep going. Keep working on yourself, and you will reach a new level in your life, and you will be so grateful that you pushed through, that you didn't give up. Because, man, honestly, I was so far, like, in the negativity that I wanted to end it, dude. Like I wanted it to end literally, and that's no place to be. You don't want to end up there. That's just a waste of potential. It's a waste of potential, man. You have so much in you. You can make a difference in the world. You can live a fulfilling life if only you understand what it takes, and if only you understand that it comes down to making the right choices every day and not letting yourself slide into that negativity and that victim mentality, because that is what's going to ruin your life. And you have so much potential, and there's so many people who care about you, so many people who want you to thrive, to succeed, to share your energy, and that's a beautiful thing. And once you learn to tap into that and feel grateful for that, it changes everything. So that is kind of my message for people who are struggling and who lost all hope. I want to be that beacon of light that can help them change their lives.
It's beautiful, man. I resonated with so much of that. I mean, that's like I said, man, that's the goal, man. It's just if you can help people transform their lives while also transforming your own life in the process, you can't beat that. You know, I feel like that will always bring you the greatest sense of fulfillment and
Absolutely.
inner growth and expansion. And I always say, man, our purpose as spiritual beings is to expand. We're always expanding. We're always growing and just rediscovering our true nature of oneness. And anytime you can make those connections with people, you're getting that much closer to it.
Absolutely.
You're stepping more and more into your authentic self and enabling others to do the same. And that's just, like I said, man, it's a beautiful feeling. For anyone who hasn't seen his channel before, definitely go and check it out. I'm going to put a link in the description as well and the pinned comment. I mean, this has been just a beautiful, beautiful live stream, beautiful conversation. Man, I don't do outros or anything. I don't do outros, but you know, if you have any parting words that you want to say to them before I end it, feel free.
Yeah, dude, I just want to thank you for your time. I had honestly a great time. It was a wonderful experience connecting with you. I feel like you're absolutely a person that I truly deeply resonate with. And it felt like I was talking to a great friend somehow. Like it was great.
Sure.
Like I felt like somehow we could really hit it off together, and it was a fantastic experience. So I hope that the viewers can feel that chemistry and that the excitement. And again, I feel grateful for this opportunity, dude. And I'm glad that you replied to my email. I was honestly like super excited, like, oh, just let's see if he actually responds, because you say you reply to your emails, but some people don't really do that, but you do. So I truly appreciate that. So that's very remarkable. And I was super grateful that you were down to do this together. So thank you so much for having me, dude. Like it was honestly a pleasure.
Sure, man. Thanks for joining on, and thanks to everyone who tuned in. Thanks to FS Bryce for the donation, and thank you all of you guys. Thank you for existing. Thank you
Thanks for
for
being here.
existing. Thank you for existing. That's I think I'm gonna just end it on that. I'm gonna end it on that.